So apart from the line on Apple and iPhones, was there anything really new in what President Trump said?
Well, I think it demonstrates just how far apart both sides are still really from a kind of a meaningful or substantive trade agreement, and it shows you that there is quite a lot riding on these talks at the G20 at the weekend. If the two leaders can agree some kind of a framework for future negotiations at least, well, that might result in some kind of a ceasefire where the tariffs are held off, and that would of course help sentiment for both investors and companies around the world. But if those talks don't go well, then we're back to where we started, and we go back to the threat repeated by President Trump, which is he will go ahead with increasing existing tariffs and implementing new tariffs. And of course, that will be on a much broader basket of goods, and that will hurt a much wider part of both China's economy and indeed the US economy as well.
Yeah, I mean, the numbers are already sort of slightly daunting. We've heard CEOs talk about it in terms of their angst. Look, Enda, what does this mean? Is this the art of the deal? I'm a bit bored with the whole saying about it, but is this, you know, the rhetoric rises, we go to this sort of photo op, is it that? Is that what this is about, stage managing Buenos Aires?
It's difficult to say, man. Certainly a lot of economists today, for example, out here are making the point that it is all about negotiating. It's about keeping the pressure on China, about pushing as hard as Mr. Trump can to get a deal that he wants. But, you know, on the flip side, China will not want to be humiliated. They will not want to have their president to be seen kowtowing to the US president and making the kind of concessions that they don't feel acceptable to their own economy. So there's quite a fine line in how all of this plays out. It's one thing for China to offer concessions to the US in areas such as shrinking the goods deficit and perhaps opening up parts of their economy more, but they will of course defend their own self-interest in their industrial strategy and their plans to create or to become world leaders in several high technology areas. So I think there's a feeling that this weekend, if the talks go well, there could be some kind of a deal, but they are a long way from a broader substantive agreement.